episode 3. I don't know. This might be the theme song. I'm not sure. And we on, baby. Episode 3, Sam and Nobe, the podcast. I'm Sam Stowers. How you doing tonight, peoples?
No, I'm doing great. I'm doing just fine.
That's how you started off clean, right off the bat, man.
Right? I'm just looking at my iPad. I'm looking, oh, like, what? Oh, yeah, we're doing this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Oh,
this
yeah,
was
we're having a podcast going on right now.
Oh, man. So, Wednesday night. So, I don't know if y'all know, that means Spiders podcast. That means Spiders practice for Nobe.
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go, man?
It went really well.
Yeah. So where are the Spiders at right now? What are you guys doing?
We are just working on getting, an hour's worth of music ready, 45 minutes, hour, just a really solid set. Starting real fresh with it and just trying to carry that baton,
Right. Obviously, a lot of people can go and make assumptions about what the vibe is right now. But, I mean, from someone who's in the practices, what would you say kind of the mind state of the band is right now? Like, what are you guys focusing on?
A lot of it is making sure everybody's got input, making sure everybody is definitely contributing something and that they want to contribute. You can be as background as you want to be. You can be as forefront as you want to be in terms of like how much you throw into the pool, or into the pot rather. Don't throw things in your pool. We're just working on new music, and it's fun. Like that was one of the big things that I knew I loved playing with the Spiders, but after everything that's happened in the first, after the first practice back when everybody was there, was just awesome. Like everybody was feeling it. It's cool.
Yeah. How was that first practice? Because I imagine it'd be something where a little bit of tension.
It was a little more low key. We didn't. We just kind of, we wanted to figure out what kind of sound we wanted to bring, and we want to keep, the same kind of live, orchestrated, super hip hop, but it's a lot about just maintaining, in terms of like the vibe, when people expect something out of a Spider show, I know I do, and it's got to be live, it's got to be something you want to fucking dance to, you want to tell your friends about, and you want to go see the next show because it was cool music,
Yeah. That, and I imagine it was, like, describe that feeling for me, because you go in, and like you said, first practice is low-key, but then you guys get going, and then was it one of those things where it's like, we still got it? Like, that feeling's still there.
One of the big reasons we wanted to continue to be the Spiders is beyond just the music, is like the friendships that we've made, and that was one of the bigger things, too, is because it's kind of like a family. My dad lives in Missouri. My little brother and I don't really talk that much, and the rest of my family's kind of scattered. So it's like this is a family I can really count on, and just some of the amazing experience that they have in terms of, like, Sparky's a double music major. Like, a lot of these people have been playing for a while, and it shows because just how articulated they are in terms of being able to describe what they want out of a sound and then to produce it is awesome. I wish I had the vocabulary, the lexicon they have in terms of, like pitch down to A flat or whatever. It's like, fucking, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm like, man, do that thing where you're like, man, and I'm like, and that's what I say. That's my input. I'm trying to be more of, I'm trying to speak more in terms of like what I hear in my head and see if people agree, and if not, then we figure out what the best course is. And it's just a very, very cool loop of throwing it around to everybody, and everybody does the same thing. I think it all starts with a person. Let's say it's like, Sparky's got an idea, JP's got an idea, and so we throw it in the hat and we circle it around. We see like why it doesn't work, why it does work, and test it and move with it. We're trying to. Now that Keenan Magic's not playing anymore, I think we're the only live band hip-hop gig.
What happened to Keenan Magic?
I think people moved.
Yeah.
It was just, I think their drummer is, I think his name is Trey. He's over in Seattle now or Portland. And everybody kind of, they had a good run, but I guess they wanted, they're all young kids too. So we're like, well, we got other things to do, I guess,
Right. So How would you say, with kind of like this second chapter in the Flying Spiders, how would you say your roles changed?
Um, well, it's like one of those things where Psalm had such a huge impact on every facet of the thing. You know, it was like not only writing the lyrics and finding beats that we wanted to recreate live, but also in terms of marketing and talking to Adam, who does all of our art for posters, or most of our posters. Sam did a lot of those. But you see his very stylized way that Adam does his stuff. All our CD covers and stuff. So he did that. He was talking to venues. He was arranging things. He was just keeping us on track, like more than it seems like any one person can do. And so I'm just trying to do whatever I can to keep that going. So I've been talking to venues. I've been talking to people doing our art, or to Adam doing our art. I think everybody is trying to sneak their foot into these two shoes that Sam left, and it's working because he had huge feet. When you think about like the amount of stuff he got done, it's like we're gonna need like 4 feet per shoe just to get this fucking thing moving. So
Right.
everybody's being incredibly supportive of each other. It feels like, and we're getting multiple balls rolling, and then we're gonna get them in the air, and we're gonna see how we can do it by ourselves.
Yeah, that's cool. From the way you're describing it, I kind of feel like you guys are ultimately starting to come into your own and create what I felt he kind of envisioned, which is a band that's a pure democracy.
Yeah.
Where it's a musical co-op.
Well, and see, one of the things about Psalm is he would often speak about how he was the evil dictator and how he had to be at times to get shit done. Sometimes you can't sit around, and you'll see this, geopolitically, and then also in a little band from Spokane. Like sometimes you got to be like, yo, this is what we're fucking doing. And that was one of my favorite things to think about, is the idea that there was 9 of us, and we were the legs, and he was the head. Like, we'll get the motherfucker where you need it to be, but you're the one telling us where to go. And so he was definitely like the head, the brain of the operation. And so I think, it's constantly proven to be a challenge, but I think that if everybody's as resolute as I am to get things going, then things are going to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what you have to do when you're fostering a movement or anything, is it starts off with that one person's vision. You get the people that you need to do that, and then you kind of spread that idea, you spread that love, and then those people kind of, like you said earlier, take the baton. I mean, you guys, how long were you guys together?
It started in October of 2010, and I joined in January, I think, of 2011. So at 3 years?
Yeah. So you guys had the time to be like, wow, this is how you actually run a band. This is how you book it. That's how you do it. Learn from him. And now it's like, all right,
so
take that.
Yeah, no, he left blueprints about how to get shit done. And that's, we're going to follow those to a T. And then we're going to make, when there needs to be a deviation, then we're going to do it. It's, I've heard noise from some people about the idea of like changing the name and stuff like that, and everybody is definitely entitled to their opinion in terms of like the direction that we should go. They can have their opinions, but as a band, we've came together. We know what we want to do, and we are the Flying Spiders. We don't condone violence of any kind, but we will always fight for peace, and that's the message, man. And that's as long as we keep that thing going, then that's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. That's beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. I had this like real big question or some profound point I was going to make, but once you went into the whole mission statement, all thoughts kind of lost for a second. Basically, here's what it was. I don't know. As a person who's a fan of music, and I think this is speaking for a lot of people in Spokane, like, I am so happy to see Flying Spiders are still going.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the main things that had to happen after this kind of change that we're still all recovering from, is Flying Spiders needs to keep going. The other big thing, since we're kind of going with this topic, is when you look at Sam and the shoes he had to fill, we have to fill musically with him being gone, is, I mean, he was that connection. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
could do 6 degrees of Psalm of anyone in the Spokane music scene.
Oh yeah, even
And-
beyond that too. Like I feel almost like goddamn anybody in town. I would say it's seriously had that kind of reach. You know, from doing stuff at Whitworth, from teaching at Whitworth, for writing for the Spokesman, for the amount of contribution he's done. With his radio show, the interviews he's done. I just actually watched one I found on YouTube with him interviewing Dell in this hotel room. And Dell's just like, Dell gets some.
Was this the 2010 performance, or was this
I
old
wanna
school
say.
Dell?
This is like 2010 or so.
Okay.
And he's they're in the hotel
I played
room,
at
and
that show.
Sean's
That
kind
was
of
a cool
asking him
show.
some questions and stuff, and then he Dell gets some like room service, and he's just like snacking on this burger. He's like he like in between sentences, he's just like shoving fries in his face and stuff. He's like, and he was funny because he's talking about how hard it can be to maintain in this era where you can just fucking steal people's shit, and it was cool because he was actually talking about the idea of change and something like what iTunes has done and other music purchasing services. The idea of like people will buy the shit if you give them an easy way to do it, and that's something like we're talking about Steve Jobs earlier. It's like that's something he was a pioneer of. Like people are stealing music, and he talked about Kazaa and because I think this was like 2001 or so.
Yeah.
He was talking about these,
What he's referencing is a exhibition Steve Jobs gave when they first introduced iTunes.
Yeah. So he had a keynote speech going on, and he would basically listed the reasons why you would want to download and buy your music from iTunes rather than try to steal it. He talked about the idea that you're not going to probably be able to get the full song that you want and the quality you want. In the time that you want, and that's something that iTunes provides. Is like you can get it, you know exactly how good the audio is going to be. You can preview songs before you buy them, and it's not stealing, which is cool.
Right. And I mean, honestly, Jobs he basically set out what the name of the game is now.
Yeah.
Because what the name of the game is now is bring it to the people.
Yeah, exactly. And in the easiest way you can. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even buy music anymore. I do Pandora and Spotify for free, but, they're getting money off the ads. And I know that Spotify and Pandora actually don't really pay the artists that they have showcased very much. I think there's a percentage, like if you get 100,000 views, you get X amount. And
they have to get it licensed from the artist. That's why I think Spotify has so many damn covers, because they don't have access to different artist libraries.
Which, see, I haven't ran into a single cover.
Really?
Like, I mean, when I search for, especially on my iPad, I know it's different. iPad and computer are way closer than iPad to like a phone, for instance.
Okay.
And so on my iPad, I can go and I can pick any song. There's an ad that plays maybe after every 5 songs or something like that. On my phone, though, I can choose an album, kinda, and it'll play a couple songs from that. Then it'll start going random and almost like radio, which is it's fucking better than nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny. The whole bring it to the people. I mean, this is episode 3 of the podcast, and I already had people getting at me where it's like, well, I mean, are you on iTunes yet? Do you guys have a site yet? It's like, really? Like, searching on YouTube is difficult? Like, okay. Well, I mean, not saying we're not going to do that. We're getting it going. We're going in on the shallow end, people. We're figuring this whole thing out.
I'm wading out with my little Imagine Me, and
you have to realize this started with me and Nobe bullshitting one night. Like, man, we need to do a podcast from a local musician point of view. Okay, let's set up equipment and start talking and see where it goes.
Right. And here we are.
Yeah. So back on the topic of filling the shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you could do 6 degrees of that guy, and like you said, anyone in Spokane. And so in addition to Spiders Keeping Going being an important thing that needed to happen after all of that happened, another part was we need to keep, and I'm looking at this from my point of view, need to keep the rap community alive.
Right, and the
Keep it
positivity
going.
alive.
Positivity is a big thing, and I mean, I think that's something that we all have to grow and get there.
Yeah.
Without making judgment on people, I do feel like the majority of the rap artists in Spokane are a little bit more on the aggro tip.
Yep.
I
think most rappers in general are.
Yeah, and I understand that. I mean, I'm even having ideas with some of my stuff because part of being a male, part of being a person is, yeah, you have that anger. And that's a feeling you express just as much as, wanting to change the world, and isn't that music, getting that feeling out. But ultimately it gets to the point of doing it responsibly,
Right.
and knowing what you're putting out. So, on the topic of keeping the hip hop community, rap community in Spokane alive, keeping it going. Not sure if a lot of you guys know. I would say, what was it? Probably September, first KTFO battle.
Yes.
Yes. For all y'all who don't know, KTFO battle is something that Pest the Menace came up with. He started doing it at Cars Corner. Real simple battle format. It was one of the first kind of open-ended events I saw for anyone who wants to come through, get at it. After Psalm's passing, and probably not the best way in sense of positivity to follow that. Like, hey, let's go and do a battle. But everyone who went to it knows you're seeing all these MCs that come from all these different types of genres, all these different styles going at it. And not only was it like, oh, wow, so-and-so off the dome is pretty sick, but it was also just like a lot of mingling. And it was one of those things where
Networking,
I felt,
man.
Yeah, networking definitely. But I mean, I just felt a little bit more cohesiveness with what everyone was doing, just because we were all focused. Like, there's a lot of people in the room together that wouldn't be in the room together.
Yeah.
And right now, the KTFO battles there at Cars Corner. Cars Corner, as a lot of you know, got shut down. So,
do you know anything about that? Like, in terms, they're just not paying the bills
I
and
don't know
shit,
the
or?
details. Next week we'll come up and give the whole story on that. I'm
Okay.
sure that shouldn't be hard to figure out.
That's our investigative reporting tip, right?
Yeah, back on it, straight out of the Yao Ming emergency room into the
Cars
public
Corner
record,
dilemma.
into the public records on Cars Corner. But no, that shouldn't be too hard. We should be able to figure that out.
I think so.
Asking around.
Actually, the guy that owned it used to be my history teacher and
Boom,
medical.
call him up. Call him up right now.
No, I don't like that guy.
Oh.
Man, he was.
Well, there goes the talking to him.
I guess so. No, I never told it to his face. I don't think Mr. Carr listens to the podcast though.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but you should.
but he should. But just not this one, I guess.
Exactly.
Or this episode.
Episode 1, 2, and 4, have at it. So the point I'm getting is, this is actually a really good thing we have going with the rap music scene in Spokane. Anyone out there listening, if you know of any that'd be interested in this, of all the battles I've gone to, I've not seen anything violent going down. Like, that's the coolest thing about these battles, is almost every battle I've witnessed, and there's been some that were just nasty.
Yeah.
Like, guys were going at it.
Yeah, there's some ruthless stuff. I mean, there's only one instance I remember anybody really getting crazy butthurt about it too.
Yeah,
There
and
were-
that got squashed.
Yeah. Well, there's that one guy that. What happened? Like, some guy like either touched somebody or like.
I think someone came in who was a little bit under the influence of something,
And he got a little amped up.
Yeah, he got a little amped up. It got a little bit crazy. Pest made an excellent call of giving the guy a warning of, hey, you need to tone it down, because he was getting in the guy's face and tried going like, Uber 8 Mile on it, and after his verse goes and slams the mic down, and it's anyone who's a professional, what they do knows, like, hey man, what are you doing?
Don't slam my mic.
Yeah, like, that's not how you treat other people's stuff. But I mean, he was professional with it. He squashed it, took care of it. Everyone who was in the venue was pretty much in agreement with it. But yeah, for all the stigmatisms that come with rap shows anywhere, even though I think a lot of it's mostly unwarranted, I've not seen a single problem with this. And I mean, it's something we got right now, and I think it's something we need to keep going. Like right now, the way they do KTFO is whoever wins, you don't go into the next battle. You're on the shelf, because they go through 8 battles, and those champions are going to go against each other at TOC. And that half a bracket we have right now is pretty strong. It's you,
Chinky,
Intricate, Unique.
and Unique, yeah.
It's pretty strong. And
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I like all those MCs.
yeah, well, I mean that, and if you just look at those guys, and I mean, I've kind of have a guess of some of the people it would be filling out the other 4. You're looking at a TOC of like just really strong rounds.
Yeah.
No gimme rounds at all.
And see, and that's the cool thing about how the battles were set up and stuff. Big ups to Pest for actually doing a battle proper in terms of, I've been to a lot of battles where they're just not set up right, and like there's no rebuttals. I was like, you get 60 seconds, no rebuttal. I was like,
wait, there's only one round?
Yeah, it was like it was so stupid.
So one guy gets a rebuttal could totally squash something.
Yeah.
And
it didn't make any
I don't
sense.
feel it tests your skill.
It
because
doesn't.
I mean, part of it is you have one dude in front of you. Can you do 3 minutes of material on this guy?
Yeah.
Can you not repeat yourself?
Right.
I mean, that was something that I think called one of the battles we saw, where this guy, he goes, makes comments on something. First time is great. Second time around, he just does the same thing over again, and it's like,
that's one of those things. Like I wish I had, I lived somewhere where battling was more prevalent. Pretty much any major city's got a decent scene, and Spokane is then again fucking Pest, big ups, man, because we need something like that. We had an annual one, and it's like, man, that's just not fucking frequent enough. And even once a month to me is like, man, I want a spot where it's like every week, like how they do Broken Mic Poetry. I would love to have fucking battles.
How do they do that?
Just Broken Mic is just basically a poetry reading, like,
okay,
and they have it at Needle Burrito, and that's on Wednesdays from 7 to 9, and just having it weekly though, and that's the kind of, that community is really strong in Spokane. The poetry community is awesome. They
really?
They pass around a hat and get money so they can get distinguished poetry writers and speakers in. So they got people coming from out of city and out of state to come read in Spokane, and that's the same kind of thing. I wish we could do something similar for the battles, is to like really invigorate it by getting people that are even better than the local talent.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. Like, especially if we can get a type of situation. I mean, back to that musical co-op idea, type of situation where, everyone, let's pitch in some money, get this person here, and then, maybe get in a situation, get some knowledge off the person.
Right.
I just don't know with what we do, our craft, if MCs really work like that.
Probably not. I think.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I know you can like, one of the things is a lot of battle rappers ain't making that much fucking money off of it.
No.
So it's like, if you pitch like $1,000 at somebody from like Portland or fucking even from San Fran, you're like, I've watched you on Grind Time a whole bunch. You want to pop up and judge a thing, or and then maybe do a couple songs off your tracks
if you have them judging, because that's one thing I've gotten tons of positive input from is, all right, going to a battle, like, really, man, I didn't win that. Like, what I was going with was strong, and then talking to the judges, they're like, hey, your mic control sucks. You need to get your game together on that, or he had you on this, he had you on that. And I mean, if we could get guys who are tried true veterans with battle rapping, or I mean any style, just an MC who's an all-around MC who's been doing the damn thing, get input like that, which I think would be a little bit more viable, that would be amazing. Because that's the other thing I noticed at the KTFO is, I believe me and MJ were sitting down talking about it. We were watching one of the battles, and we're like, honestly, for a town the size of Spokane, there's a good amount of solid MCs. Like, there were a lot of guys who went up there that impressed the shit out of me. Intricate, can spit.
Yeah.
Like freestyle wise, dude's got it going. And there's a lot of cats like that.
Right. And I think the whole sound cast crew is really solid, and they're they're all LMCs, and so it's cool having two of those dudes win it because they deserve it. They're ill. Yeah,
I mean, I knew Chinky was gonna come up and tear it up, but I hadn't seen a lot out of Intricate, and it's like, okay, you guys are Voltron. All the parts are just as strong as the other,
right?
For sure, man. I don't know. Kind of going off that topic of MC attitude and how we go and kind of teach each other and how we relate. I went to 206 Zulu 10th anniversary celebration in Seattle last weekend, and there's so much we could learn from the b-boy community. Like,
right. Well, even just seeing Paper Cutout come down, like, they're just solid, man. They're just cool.
Paper Cutout's good.
Right?
They're really good. I believe in the Throwdown Championship, it was a 1G battle they had. They had some issues getting everyone out there, but it was 3-on-3 battles, 32 crews going at it, and the only crew that they were able to get together was Monica, Kai from Paper Cutout, and their girl Snap from Alaska. Only B-girl crew there, and yeah, they got to the round of 16.
That's
I mean, that, and honestly, I feel it was kind of controversial, their loss, because with the way they were judging it, like, I mean, they were doing some stuff. But yeah, and this was a battle where there were international competitors at. Like,
That's
I'd
awesome.
seen some shit at this battle. I never, like, dude sliding 5 feet on one wrist.
Yeah, I've seen shit like that. It's so filthy.
And it's like, dude, are you serious?
Mhm.
Like, and just like talking to these cats where it's like, dude, where'd you come up with that? Oh, well, I was playing Street Fighter, and I was like, okay, I can go ahead and do that. And it's like, wait, you're watching a video game, and you're going, yeah, an actual human could do this. And even more so amazing, you were able to duplicate it.
Right.
Like, that's so crazy.
I want to see a hurricane kick. I want to see like a live S. I don't know what you have to
Someone's
do to
gonna
do it.
it.
You know, even I've seen dudes run off each other's backs. You know,
Yeah.
you get somebody like laying down, and then you run off his back, and he kind of launches you and starts spin kicking.
Massive Monkeys had their team.
Stop there. Massive Monkeys.
No,
End of the
they
podcast.
didn't even win. They were like, they lost in the semifinals.
I just like that, like
Yeah.
without context, you're saying massive monkeys.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
right.
humongous apes. The world.
Uncontrollable kookaburras in the podcast.
You win. You win.
All right.
Don't drop the mic though.
I won't slam it down. What, son?
Massive monkeys.
No, anyways, Massive Monkeys. I want to say they made it to semifinals. They had an 8-year-old kid on their 3-on-3 team.
No.
Uh,
I've seen some kids that just make me like, it's like
Oh,
fuck.
This kid goes into
Fuck
a
it.
freeze where he's on his knees, back arch, hands are gripping the ankles, right? And it just stops in the freeze. Some guy comes up, starts wearing the kid as a backpack, dancing with the kid on as a backpack. Like, and it's like, are you serious? Like, and then, like, of course he's got his jacket zipped up, so they unzip the jacket like he's a human backpack, take his beanie out, and then, like, turn around, he just pops off, starts doing head spins. Oh,
no.
man, the creativity of, creativity stuff they were doing was amazing.
That's so fucking cool.
Big ups to 206 Zulu. You guys had an awesome celebration. African Bambata, DJ Qbert the first night. African Bambata, one of those guys, when this guy speaks, it's almost like a holy presence. Like you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And just his tone and the man's intellect. He actually presented one of the 206 Zulu members. She actually got inducted as a Zulu queen, which was a really big deal. Like it was wild. I've never.
How many people are there generally?
How
Like, I mean, how big was the crowd? And
I would say it was
like-
really intimate. It was about the second night where they had the full-on battle, probably about 450, 500. The first night, probably about 250. So you have DJ Qbert going in front of 250 people. Like
Right.
you were talking about probably the best turntablist in the world. I don't know how many DMC championships this guy has.
Mm.
And we're sitting, of course they had the presence of mind to put a camera on his hands. So you're just seeing what he's doing with the
like a
faders.
GoPro
What? Yeah.
or something? That's
Yeah,
so
yeah. They
fast.
had it set right up, and you're seeing just like just on the fader, like what his fingers are doing. Like they're switching in between fingers, and he's using that extra distance that he's going from different gaps in the fingers to kind of change the pace of the scratch cutting in. And then so this guy in the middle of this set just goes, "Hey, any DJs out there want to scratch with me? Come on up, no problem." It's like, are you serious? Like this is beautiful.
That's okay. When's the next one?
Next year, like they'll
Oh,
have the
shit.
11th anniversary.
Okay, well, I'm going
Yeah.
to that one.
I mean, the only thing that was disappointing for me was people were like, "Hey, they do a lot of b-boy ciphers, but they also do a lot of MC ciphers." So I was like, "I'm gonna be rapping for 48 hours straight.
Yeah, right.
Like this is gonna be amazing." Not that, but I didn't care. Like I'm still at the edge of the b-boy circles, like just rapping my head off to these break beats that
Right.
were really. Anyone who freestyles knows break beats can get a little difficult.
They're quick, man.
Yeah, they're
It's
quick.
supposed to break you.
Yeah,
That's how-
exactly. They have changes. And more so, I just got so much from just seeing their culture and how they do it. First of all, the Zulu Nation as a rapper, I've never really gotten that deep into it, and how much they look at it as a community for each of us to grow. And I mean, honestly, it's almost the equivalent of like a hip hop Elks Lodge. Like more than that. It's more than that just because the amount of love they bring and how they see it. Like they're doing their own security. You see these guys walking around in Zulu biker jackets. You know, not a single thing got close to popping off, by the way.
Rip.
Like everyone was cool. I spoke-handed it up bad.
What'd you do?
Yeah, dude. I'm walking up. It's the second night. Rob Nice is sitting there in front at the door, and he's got the fist in palm, and the Zulu greeting. They're like, "Peace." And I'm just running through late for the meeting. I'm like, "Howdy," and run through Spokane.
Yeah. Howdy. You dip your hat and clink your boots together?
Yeah, dude. You betcha. I got a snake in my boot.
Howdy, mister. I'm here to see you guys break dance.
Man, oh man, you fancy with them twinkle toes.
I saw that little boy turn into a backpack and I lost my mind.
I did.
I want to see that so bad.
Look it up, 206 Throwdown Championship. I'm sure they got a video on there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, more so Zulu Nation, they're amazing. But B-boys don't act around each other the same way I see MCs act around each other. I feel with MCs, a lot of times guys have their guard up. And B-boys is just as competitive. I mean, every time these guys go into a battle, they're going against each other. But, I mean, I'm seeing people who, like hearing Paper Cutout talk about it. Like, oh, yeah, we met this guy at this battle, so we're staying at his house. Like, dude, just open door. Come on in. You guys are doing your thing. Come on in. They're doing ciphers on Friday night. And as soon as the music starts playing, 6 circles erupt in the whole house. And people just going. That, and it's like second, third gen hip-hop people. So you got like their 6-year-old kids sitting there doing handstands and stuff. It's like, this is so beautiful.
Right.
Like, this is how it should be. And so you have guys that you could tell have been doing it for a year and a half, which in their terms is not long at all. Going, doing a move. Like, Ken Swift comes through, legendary B-boy. He's like, oh, you may want to do this, all that. Like, they had Ken Swift, track 2, Asia 1. Track 2 is original Rocksteady. This guy was one of those guys that was climbing up the lamppost, knocking the lights out so they could wire Cool Herc set into it. Like, this is true school. And they're just up there chilling. Like, you want to pick their brain? Go for it. Like, we're here to teach. And also judge. They judged that night. But yeah, I mean, just the vibe, the humility, and the sense of community these guys have, it's like, there's something to take from that.
Almost definitely. And like, I would love to see MC. I mean, and I think the MC communities are kind of similar, and that's where you get into like B-boying to me is the same side of the coin that like true hip hop is, and like real.
They're the flag bearers,
right?
Honestly,
and exactly. And see, I think that on the spider tip, it's like this. We want to make music that cats want to break to. That same idea. And actually, Paper Cutout Crew has a really cool video of them just like at practice messing around. They put I won't say it was Spokane's finest, but it might not have been. But just killing it, and like we want to. I don't know. That community, that idea that you can go into a place with 400, 500 people that are all about your same craft and get along, like, and not have that egocentric vision about like I'm the best b-boy. Like the judges will determine if I'm the best b-boy, but I'm not gonna project like I am. And I'm gonna help you if you're not as skilled. Like I don't know, it just makes sense to me. Like to remove the that just.
Animosity that comes with competition.
Yeah, no, seriously, and that's one of those things. Like when I went to a Halo competition in 2004, and we ended up we got third place out of 133 teams on the on Xbox, and then we won the PC one, which none of us had played, which is really funny. We had never played PC. There's 10 teams on the PC competition, and we won it somehow.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like it's a wild story.
How did it differ?
Just controls, and then basically the PC one was set up for Blood Gulch and CTF, and that was it. Mm-hmm. Where the Xbox one was Team Slayer generally and random assortment of maps. So on the PC one, for some reason it spawns 2 more warthogs than the Xbox version. So we had 2 warthogs, and what basically I was like, yo, just steal theirs, and we used them as barricades kind of around our base. And then I took one of them and just drove this crazy little thing, and nobody ever scored a flag. And I would always drive, and for some reason they enabled the ability to have a flag and also drive a vehicle, which is kind of
Yeah, that could.
So
On
I was
early
one
Halo.
man in the flag, and my team, the rest of my boys were just guarding the base. And I was just, they would start rushing us. My crew would handle it. I would go around the back of their base, run in, grab the flag, drive the car home. Like, never got scored on once.
Huh. So anyways, you're talking about this competition in the
Yeah.
field.
Oh, so, there's a lot of video games don't have the entry level or the price for admission as, B-Boying does in terms of like physical stuff. So you're going to have a whole bunch of rotten kids and shit like that. But after we won that competition, or after we got 3rd place rather, it was like people were, energized, and like there's a lot of chatting. Like I got to meet some of the people that made Halo 1 and 2. I got to talk to some of the animators and people I had followed for a long time, which was really cool. Actually, one of the animators came and who animated the Brutes in particular on Halo 2, and I'm sure he did a whole bunch of other work. He came and watched us win the PC tournament, and then I get to play on the big stage. I get to play Halo 2 early, and I get to talk to Frankie, who now works at 343, who made Halo 4, and they're working on the next Halo. So it's really cool being able to, not only did I get to talk to the people that made the game, there was a ton of people that are really open to just like talking about video games, and that's kind of, that's why I went there. It was PAX 2004, so they had, I think it was their first year, and they had a ton of games out. They had, Fable 2 or something was coming out, and there was just, or I think it was maybe Fable 1, like the Lost Chapters or some shit like that. Anyway, it was just a whole bunch of people that were about the same thing getting down. Like after we, when we lost the Xbox part, when we got 3rd place, I was talking to a whole bunch of guys that had won, and it was fun. Like it was fun to be in a room where everybody's like really good at it or getting better, and then being able to like chat them up about it and and nobody's like, yo, they weren't ever like, yo, we once were the baddest motherfuckers and we're out of here. It was like, yeah, they want to chill out, and we stayed and played Halo for fucking hours, man. It was cool.
That, and I think with competitions like that, when you get so many people who have this like interest, I do think a part of that change also has to do with the competition.
Right. Once you get a little more mature, you can see more mature actions.
Well, that, and I mean, like, because you've seen it at battles where you get there and people who know each other really well, they're chatting it up, but for the most part, you're tense. Everyone's kind of being quiet, and then whether you win or lose, or especially for me, it's just getting that first battle out of the way.
Yeah.
Just letting out some of that pent-up energy I have. It's almost like a weight off your shoulders, and now it's just like, hey, you did this. Yeah, you did this. That, and the adrenaline from going and competing,
right,
I think kind of keeps the whole night going a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I thought was so cool at this, was even before that competition, was like that camaraderie, people able to respect what different things people are bringing to the table. And yeah, no, it was a great experience. They put on an awesome event. Also, another thing I never saw before is, so like I said, Asian 1, Ken Swift, Track 2, also Complex from Crew in Tacoma. Can't remember it. Sorry, guys. I'm like, this was my introduction into the whole B-boy world. Not an expert on it, far from it. They judged, but they also had a time where during the day, Asian 1 puts on a workshop.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she's showing little tips she likes, and I guess a lot of it was she went down to basics, where it's like no one's learning a really crazy move, but it's, hey, when you're in this position, everyone segues into this position. Can't you flip it back and do this? Can't you do this?
Right.
Just opening everyone's mind, kind of rewriting the books that they have, the blueprints they have in their head for how they practice their craft. And so you have a legend out there teaching. Then after that, they did an 1.5-hour discussion where they just sat down and were like, hey, ask us questions. So they're people are bringing up stuff that has to do with breaking. There was an excellent question about being a B-girl, and, you're living a life. Like, you had a kid. How many months pregnant were you still dancing? And she's talking about like, yeah, I was about 3 months pregnant. I'm doing a head spin. I was like, all right, I need to slow down.
Yeah, right.
Like, we're getting to that point. Let's cut it out. Interesting stuff like that to just hip hop. Like, I think this is a topic that goes for parts of all elements of hip hop is dealing with old school, new school, veterans versus guys getting into it, respect, teaching, letting people learn on their own, how to kind of divide. You know, honestly, you may be kind of messing up the spirits, how that differs from, you know, someone just being jealous. I don't know. A lot of cool topics that I was kind of able to put to what I do.
Yeah.
It was a cool night.
Feel that. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to nerdwest.com. That's the podcast that I did about 2 weeks ago. And you can go to their website, and if you're into video games, they got a ton of awesome reviews and great podcasts about like the best fighting character ever. They talk about pretty much as many comics, video game, and movie references as you can imagine. So you should definitely go to nerdwest.com.
Nerdwest.
Shouting it out. Getting that done.
All right. We're on the video game tip
Oh,
a little bit using as a segue. I need to know what I'm in for, dude. So I'm at GameStop. I'm looking at games. And I'm pretty sure last podcast I said I'm not going to start a new game until I finish the album. I'm not sure if I said that or not. That was my idea.
I know we had talked about it.
Yeah.
Are you a liar, Sam?
I might be. I actually definitely am. Although album Ice Cold Butter should be about a month and a half. I think we're going to be rocking and rolling on that. Pluggage. Anyways, I'm at GameStop looking at games. And for $10, they have this game I heard about from you. I also heard from Zeroni on our drive to the conference called Dark Souls. For $10. $10, that's a steal.
No,
that's
it is.
An absolute
but it's
steal.
not the steal you thought it was going to be. It's going to be the one that steals your soul, sir.
Really? Like, what?
It's
already super hard, and I just started, but I think I can get past that. Like, what am I in for with this game, man?
It's tough, and it's one of those games where that I love in terms of like the consistency. Like, you know exactly what your character can do, and so when you feel that you've accomplished getting past like novice control issues, like when you feel really in tune with your character, and as you start going deeper into Dark Souls, like, I mean, the instant kill stuff is fucking scary. Knowing that, like, the normal guys are hard enough at times, especially if they start ganging up on your ass.
Well, no,
but then bosses
are
fucking
crazy
wild.
Little repetitive attacks.
Yeah.
Where they just start hammering at you.
Yeah, it's one of those things of kind of repetition, learning traits of certain enemy types, but then it's also just being really in tune with your gear and how to control your character. It's about knowing when to dodge, knowing when to block, and when to attack.
That's the thing I'm noticing with this game that I kind of like, because everyone's like, hey, it's a great game. It's awesome. This is the hardest game you're going to ever play. Like someone...
I don't know about the
really?
hard.
All right. Well, I know a lot of people who
it is
speak in
fucking
hyperbole. Tough. Like, I think one comparison I had was Legendary on Skyrim. I don't know if it's that tough. I avoided Skyrim because of how long it'd be playing it, and then I go and buy a game that I could put just as much time into. Awesome. Anyways, the thing I like about the difficulty that I noticed is, someone put it best, is it's really hard. It's one of the harder games you'll play on a next-gen platform. And more I think about it, a lot of next-gen platform games are a lot easier when compared to going back to those NES games.
Oh, yeah.
Played. Like, when was the last time you played a Mega Man game?
I played 10, or no, which one was it? I played the SNES one maybe a year ago, and it was fucking tough. And I never really played a lot of Mega Man. I was always more like a Metroid guy.
And that's that different type of difficulty.
It's the idea where it's when you die, it's not cheap. Like,
right.
I don't feel like I got cheated. Like, that was fucking, I couldn't have, I don't ever feel like I couldn't have done something to prevent that. If I would have acted quicker, or if I would have been more observant, then I wouldn't have died, and so it's my fault.
Yeah, the difficulty is based off you in Dark Souls, just like these NES games. Because a lot of games I'll play, it's like, okay, you didn't die because you didn't get it the way they wanted you to play this level. They have an idea for it, and you weren't really vibing with it, or you didn't use this particular strategy for going against this enemy. This one, it's you died because you didn't time your hit right.
Right.
You didn't dodge this. You didn't react, just like the NES games. You know, like, yeah, you went left while that little energy ball was coming at you. Bomb, it got you. You should have gone right.
Right.
And so it's that same type of difficulty
Mm-hmm.
where it's really based off of you being on point and doing it.
Yeah, just knowing, yeah, and that's what I can get behind in terms of like if you're gonna make a game tough, just don't make it cheap. Like Halo 2, for instance, I've been playing that. I got my games back from my buddy Alex. I got Halo 1 and 2, so I'm so happy inside. But playing Halo 2, just seeing like some of the decisions that they made with that single player just pissed me off so much, man. The instant kill sniper on Legendary from like the Jackals, like, fuck, bad idea.
Ew.
Like, getting like the way they handle vehicle damage, like, is just shitty. When you're getting shot in a vehicle, all these like lightly armored Marines are okay, and you die first.
Inconsistencies.
Yeah, and it's like that kind of shit. Like that pisses me off. That's bad. Where Dark Souls is the opposite, where you don't need to make the game. Like, I would rather have smarter enemies than enemies that do more damage if you're going to make it harder. And not to say the AI in Halo 2 is really good, but some of their weapons, like, for some reason when Elite has 2 plasma pistols, which are really pretty shitty, they fucking decimate you in, like, half a second. And it's, you know, it's crazy.
It's not consistent with the game's rules.
Exactly. It doesn't seem like it is. Especially when you play, like, and that's pretty much what it feels like is they just made them do more damage. And that's like, man, that's not how you make a game tougher. Make them give me more enemies, and I know the engine it can only handle so much shit. So sometimes that's not viable. So it's like, how do we make this tougher? Well, we'll just make them do more damage. You know, it's harder to write it's better and more complicated AI paths in decision making than it is to fucking go to a spreadsheet and turn up plasma rifle damage by 0.8 for any grunt or whatever, you know. Just
curious, games you played, which game do you feel probably had the best AI?
You know, Halo's really up there. I remember just playing Halo 1 and seeing some of the craziest shit. I love the interconnectivity between like grunts, jackals, and an elite, for instance.
Sense of teamwork that they play.
Yeah, like, so when you kill the elite, when you kill the big strong dude, everybody starts freaking out. I've seen instances where I was playing Halo 1 and I was in the gunner seat of a Warthog and it kind of clipped through a mountain wall, and so I could see through most of the environment. And so this dropship came, dropped off a whole bunch of jackals and stuff, and I had never seen this happen before. Like, they all kind of stopped at the base of this little hill that I was camping on top of, and then they kind of spread out, and one of the jackals kind of like pointed in my direction, and then they all started rushing.
Really?
And it was like, that is fucking awesome. It makes me, you know, anything that a developer can do to
simulate how humans would play?
Or, not even like, I mean, just give some kind of interconnectiveness where they seem like they're working together. They might not be, but they seem like they are. And like, it's that's what kind of pulls you in. I think the AI in Last of Us is pretty good. The human AI.
Yeah.
The other AI is pretty typical zombie fare. We're just fucking, I'm gonna eat you.
Well, but that's pretty cool that they're giving intelligence levels to the various things in the game. They act differently. I believe you and I off air have to discuss this. I'm a casual gamer, but one game I played is Fear 2. Fear 2.
Yeah, Fear had some awesome AI.
Oh yeah, you can't. I think the game I played before that was one of the Gears of War, and that one, you hide behind something, shoot them until they're all dead, get it go. You do that in Fear 2, they're gonna flank you, they're gonna come around the side, and you're gonna be exposed. You have to keep moving, doing your thing, because the SWAT teams or tactical teams they have are it's gonna feel like they're trying to outsmart you. Their AI works like that. Meanwhile, a beast is a beast. It's gonna come at you.
And that's the idea of like different enemy types really impacting that. Like, you know, a grunt won't do what an elite will do, and a hunter won't do what a jackal will do. Like, having like and that's one of the beauties of like Halo, and what they really nailed is the idea that every enemy instantly like presents a case where like a jackal, like, I know exactly how he's going to act most of the time, and I know his weakness, but when he's paired with an elite that's fucking going buck ass crazy, you know, he's running around. If he's like a really high rank elite, he'll be going wild, you know, he's really trying to kick my ass, and this jackal presents twice the more challenge just because this elite's putting so much pressure on me. And vice versa, like, if the jackals are alone, it's like, well, I know how to deal with these assholes, like, you know, shoot aside their shield and then get them, or throw some grenades and try to flank and stuff. And it's I don't know. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do is look at how the world behaves and how you interact with it within a video game. That's like, that's what's immersive.
I think I just found the theme of this whole podcast, this episode. Quantity, not quality.
Exactly.
Flying Spiders, you guys got a good amount of tracks up there, but you're not one of those guys where it's like constantly coming out, but everything that comes out is quality. Uh-oh. That's that marker.
We got the dancey music going.
Here, it's all good. I'm in a wrap-up. We're good. All right. The whole Zulu conference, it wasn't packed full of people. Like I said, it was maybe 250 people, but everyone was there for the right reason. It was quality experience. Video game developers, you don't need to throw thousands of enemies at us. Just give us ones to where we actually have to work going against them.
Right.
Treat them like simulates a real-life situation in a completely ridiculous situation.
Right.
Real life quantity, not quality. I think that's this podcast. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
All right. So you heard the timer. We're getting to the end of the night. Bulls, Monday nights.
Yep. Bulls Monday nights, we get open mic, so come bring your guitar, your ukulele, pan flute, any poetry or jokes you might have. If you're MC, come MC. If you're breakdancer, come break. We're going to get it going.
Yeah, definitely. And the cypher element, whenever we get up on the mic, Nobe was just telling me some new stuff. We're trying.
We get some more games to play.
Yeah, a lot of games. It's an interactive thing. It's not us just randomly performing stuff. Be part of it. It's awesome. Also, MJ's got open mics Tuesday nights at Revolver.
Revolver North, yep. And he starts at 10, and I think he goes to 1.
Yeah, Revolver North out on Garland. Flying Spiders has got stuff coming soon.
Yeah, we will be divulging dates probably in a couple weeks here. We got our first show planned out, and yeah.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a venue, you want some cool stuff, KTFO battles, check it out. My stuff will come up sooner than later. Cool. I'm Sam.
I'm Nobe.
Peace out.
Adios.